Today I'm going to be making a cake with puzzle pieces. This is just a cake that I'm making for home, so nothing special or fantastic. I'm starting with putting some buttercream onto the cake board to hold the cake into place as I decorate. This is just going to be a 1-layer cake. It is a 9-inch marble cake, and again I'm just spreading this buttercream out a bit to hold the cake into place so I can decorate without it sliding around. I am not leveling out this cake, but I am going to put it on upside down so that we have a flat top for this cake. I'm putting some buttercream on the top of the cake, and I'm going to use a knife to spread that icing out for a crumb coat. You'll see too that I am piping some icing along the sides that again I will use to do the crumb coat. I'm paying pretty close attention to not pick up the knife from the cake because it is a very moist cake, so I don't want to pull up any of an additional amount of the crumbs from the cake. So I'm just using the knife to kind of pull along the side to smooth those sides out for the crumb coating. In between, I'm using a bench scraper to scrape off excess icing from my smoothing knife. Once I'm finished with the first layer, I am doing a second layer of icing that will act as my actual base of the icing for my design. After I complete this, I am going to use my knife and a paper towel to add additional icing to further fill in any gaps or holes that you might see in the icing. After I'm finished with this part, I will put it into the freezer so that it can chill a bit to allow me to further smooth out this icing. I will ultimately use this metal spatula and put it under some hot water and dry it off and use the heat from that metal to further smooth out my icing to make it as smooth as possible for this home cake. Now here I tried to use some melted buttercream to make some buttercream puzzle pieces. But when afterwards I put this into the freezer and tried to chill them up a bit, ultimately this ended up not working because when I tried to take them out of this mold, the pieces were breaking. And so I ended up having to redo this, and I tried something else. I included this in the video just because I think even some mistakes warrant being included. I think we learn from them, and so that's why I included that here. So what I ended up doing was I ended up using some white chocolate that I added some oil-based food coloring. This is still me using buttercream, but in a minute you'll see me adding, well, you won't see me adding it, but I used oil-based dye into white chocolate and I colored them, and you'll see me popping them out of here's the white chocolate version. So I'm scraping a little bit of the excess off, and these are ultimately the pieces that I ended up using for my cake because the ones of buttercream did not work at all, and it was a process of me learning, so I find value in that. So I'm going to be using some of these excess pieces that I'm scraping off. The whole reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to use that to sprinkle over the top of the cake after I put the puzzle pieces on. So here I'm beginning to pop out those pieces, and this worked a lot better than me trying to use the buttercream to do this. These are actually candy molds, so that makes sense. These really did turn out pretty cute. In hindsight, I would have filled these only about half full. I think they look a little bit too chunky on the top of the cake, but if they would have been done and made about half as thick, I think that would have looked better. But again, this is a cake that I did for home, and it's really just a matter of me practicing and learning different things since I am new at doing any kind of cake decorating stuff. Just cleaning out that mold right there. Now I'm taking an X-Acto knife and I am cleaning up some of the excess chocolate that's on the edges of each one of these puzzle pieces. I really did think these turned out pretty cute. Again, next time I will make them half as thick. Now I'm just kind of placing them randomly on the cake. I don't have any major design or ideas for this cake. As I said, this is just one layer marble cake for us here at home. I did decide to interlock two of the pieces. Other than that, I just placed them randomly on the cake. As you can see how thick they look, this is what I meant by them looking a bit too chunky. And now those pieces that I scraped off the back of the mold, this is what I'm sprinkling on the top. So this is just white chocolate that's colored the same color as the pieces. Now I am just using a Wilton tip to create a border along the top, and I'll do the same thing along the bottom. And with that, that will complete the design of this cake. I did really enjoy doing this as I enjoy doing puzzles in my spare time. So this was a fun cake to do. I would do a lot of things different with this cake, but it was tasty and my family enjoyed it, so it was perfect. And this is what the cake looks like, and I do thank you for coming to watch this design. If you enjoyed watching this video, I encourage you to come back and watch others, and feel free to share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.